I'm a farmer, born, raised, and molded by dirt, sweat, and sun. Out here, land isn't just something you stand on. It's bloodline, legacy, and stubborn pride all rolled into one. My farm isn't just a place. It's my past, present, and the future I hope to hand down. But as any peaceful patch of earth will teach you, it doesn't stay untouched forever. For me, trouble showed up right next door, disguised as a community. Shadow Creek, a shiny HOA-run estate that sprouted like weeds across good soil. Now, let me be fair. I don't hate everyone in that neighborhood. Some of them, good folks. We've shared cold beers leaning against the fence post, swapped tractor parts, and even laughed about chickens crossing roads. But every garden eventually grows a weed, or worse, a tumor. And in Shadow Creek, that tumor had a name. Grace. Grace wasn't just your everyday nosy neighbor. No. She was HOA president, clipboard crusader, queen of the bylaws, a woman whose entire personality could be summed up as drier than stale cornbread. I had just wrapped up a grueling 12-hour day, hauling feed, patching fence lines, chasing a goat Houdini who thought freedom was an Olympic sport, when I pulled into my gravel driveway. My arms ached, my boots stank of manure, and the sunburn on my neck felt like a branding iron. And there she was, standing at my gate. Grace, the HOA tyrant herself, glaring at me like she already owned the soil beneath my boots. Welcome back to Prodigy Tales, folks. You know what to do. Hit that like button, drop a comment where you're tuning in from, and get ready, because this one's about to get wild. At first, I thought maybe she was lost, or maybe she'd come to return a pie dish she borrowed from some neighbor. Something small, annoying, but harmless. But when I saw that death grip on her clipboard, I knew this wasn't a friendly visit. I stepped out of my truck, wiped the sweat from my brow, and tried to keep my voice polite, even though all I wanted was a shower and some sleep. "Evening," I said. She didn't even nod, didn't smile, just looked down her nose like she was reading my arrest warrant. "Mr. Bennett." "Yep, that's me." "I'm here on behalf of the Shadow Creek HOA board. We've received reports of unapproved commercial activity on this property, specifically illegal Airbnb rentals." Now, I'll be honest. At first, I thought she was joking. Airbnb? On a farm? Ain't nobody paying good money to vacation next to cow patties, clucking hens, and a tractor that starts on faith and duct tape. "Ma'am, this is a farm. The only guests I got are goats, chickens, and the occasional raccoon raid. Nobody's booking this place for spa weekends." But Grace wasn't listening. "We take community standards seriously. Your cabin falls under the shared zoning buffer, which gives us rights to inspect. You may not realize, but your property was part of the original Shadow Creek boundary map." Now that was pure fiction. She knew it, I knew it. But she wanted in, and I wasn't about to open that gate. Before we go deeper, let me ask y'all, what would you have done in my boots? Drop your answers down below. Because me, I just leaned on that gatepost, tired, dirty, and fresh out of patience. She didn't like that. Oh no. Grace's mouth opened, closed, and opened again like a buffering computer. Finally, she scribbled on her clipboard and hissed, "Refusal to cooperate will result in legal consequences." I chuckled. "Lady, that's a chicken coop. The only hazard here is you." She ignored me, snapped pictures of my woodshed, my tractor, even my dogs, then stomped back to her SUV and shouted, "Expect a full inspection. I'll be bringing the board." Like it was the HOA Avengers. Sure enough, word spread fast. A neighbor texted me that Grace was making noise at the HOA meeting, claiming I ran a secret Airbnb and kept unregistered dogs like I was hiding fugitives. I laughed it off, sent him a laughing emoji. But here's the thing about Grace. She wasn't the type to bark empty threats. She was the type to underline bylaws with sticky notes for fun. So I braced myself. 3 days later, I had to leave town. Tractor parts up north. Couldn't wait. I locked up my cabin, posted fresh private property and beware of dog signs, and topped off the feeders. My 2 boys, Bear and Grizzle,
loyal guard dogs with teeth like steel traps and hearts of gold roamed free. They weren't killers, but they'd make sure you knew if you weren't welcome. What I didn't expect was for Grace to take my absence as an invitation. That afternoon, motion sensors pinged my phone. I figured it was a deer, maybe a squirrel chase. But when I pulled up the live feed, my jaw nearly hit the truck floor. Grace, purple blouse, clipboard clutched like Excalibur, crawling through my side fence like she was breaking into Fort Knox. She ignored my no trespassing signs, ignored the bold red live guard dog warning. She ducked under a camera like some B-movie spy. And then she marched up my gravel path, muttering to herself like she was casting HOA spells. This lady wasn't just ignoring rules, she was declaring war on them. But here's what she didn't know. The cameras weren't my only line of defense. Bear and Grizzle had been dozing under the porch all morning, but the second Grace's flats crunched that gravel, their ears perked, their eyes locked, radar engaged. Grace pushed through my second gate, clipboard still clutched. She either didn't see the warning signs or thought she was immune. That was her mistake. Bear moved first, silent, fast. She didn't notice him until he was 5 feet away, barreling like a furry missile. Grace shrieked, stumbled back, tripped on her own clipboard, and hit the dirt flat on her back. Grizzle came next, barking like thunder rolling down the valley. Now let me make this clear. My dogs are trained. They're protectors, not killers. But they're also not in the business of shaking hands with trespassers. Grace got a nip on the leg, a scratch on the arm, and enough slobber and ripped fabric to ruin her suburban reputation for life. I called 911 immediately, explained everything, and streamed the footage live. By the time I hauled back home, paramedics were tending to her at the edge of my property. She was crying about rabies, lawsuits, and assault by canine, while the sheriff calmly told me, "Don't worry, we saw the footage." But Grace, oh, she wasn't done. She pressed charges. Marched into court with bandages, a crutch she didn't need, and that cursed clipboard stuffed in her oversized purse. She spun a tale about being a concerned citizen attacked by vicious animals. But the judge wouldn't buy it. Because here's the truth. My land isn't in Shadow Creek. Never was. Never will be. Her so-called buffer zone? Pure HOA fantasy. The court watched my footage, saw her step past every private property sign, saw her push through the Beware of Dogs gate, saw her trespass plain as day. Her lawyer barely spoke 3 sentences before the judge dismissed the case. Now, I could have sued her. Trespassing, defamation, emotional distress. Heck, I could have bankrupted her with fees. But I didn't want money. I wanted peace. So instead, I filed a restraining order. Grace is now legally banned from coming within 300 feet of my property, my dogs, my tractor, my goats, and probably my scarecrow. And because her stunt triggered an unnecessary emergency response, she got slapped with a county fine. But that wasn't even the best part. Somehow, the video leaked, made it to Facebook, then TikTok, then the local town newsletter under the headline, HOA Karen mauled by country justice. The HOA scrambled to save face. Grace was quietly removed from the board, at least temporarily. And me? Peace finally returned to my farm. The gates are locked, the cameras are rolling, Bear and Grizzle still nap on the porch, ears twitching like sentries. And Grace? Well, she learned the hard way that some gates are locked for a reason. That's the end, folks. What y'all think? Was I too soft letting her off easy, or should I have dragged her through the mud in court? Drop your thoughts below. And as always, this has been Prodigy Tales. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more HOA showdowns, farmyard justice, and stories you just can't make up. The end.